Let's jump into our baseball though, Brett. Talk about some games going on Monday. And I'll start us off here. We have the Braves in Miami facing off against the Marlins. We got Touki Toussaint on the mound against Braxton Garrett. And I am going to be backing the hometown guys. I'm going to back the Marlins, who are 30-27 at home this season, compared to a Braves team that's 31-27 on the road. So they got comparable records in this scenario. But Braxton Garrett's the bit of the wild card here because he's only got 31 innings pitched. He's never faced off against the Braves before. Toussaint's a little bit more known of an arm on the Braves end. And I like the way the Marlins have actually been playing recently. They won 3 straight. They got one of their wins against the Padres, got 2 against Chicago, and then actually they won 4 straight because they finished off the sweep against Chicago on Sunday, So yeah, Marlins as the underdogs at plus 135. I really like that because also if you look at them on the run line, if you look at them on their run line as underdogs, they're 45-33 on the year. So I really like the Miami Marlins in this underdog scenario.
Yeah, I am going to stay away from this game, Higgins, because I have no interest in betting on or against Braxton Garrett. I know nothing about him. Touki Toussaint's rebounded a little bit this year, looked pretty good for the Braves. Braves getting a little healthy with their pitching staff, Higgins. Huascar is expected back soon, so the Braves could really make a run here in the NL East. I think they need every game, so I would lean Atlanta, unfortunately for you, but good news, I have no strong feelings on this one, Higgins, so I'm staying off and just rooting for you to beat the books at plus 135.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I like that line at plus 135 too, because I feel like it's going to dip back down. It's going to be a little bit more close to a pick-me game by start time. Another game that I'm going to be on, Brett, is going to be the run line. And if you just look at how these two teams have done so far this year, it's pretty obvious. We have the Baltimore Orioles heading to Tampa Bay to face off against the Rays. Tampa, they are the 6th best team in the MLB against the run line at 65-53. Meanwhile, Baltimore, they are the 2nd worst team against the MLB, 47-69 on the year. So you're giving me Baltimore versus Tampa Bay, where the Rays are minus 1.5 favorites at plus 115 odds. I really like that, especially when you take the time to look at their past 10 games and you look at the fact that Baltimore has not won a run line in their past 10 games. So recent history, Baltimore's going through a bit of a slump there. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay, they're 6-4 in their past 10 run lines, so I like this scenario of Tampa Bay at home. They need this win in the AL East to continue staying atop the division, as they still got a 3-game lead over Boston. Baltimore is going to be the punching bag for the rest of the season. However, Baltimore's going to try to play spoiler in their own division. I just don't think they're going to do it on Monday.
Yeah, Higgins, if I had to guess why the lines are the way they are, I would guess it has to do with Colin McHugh being the projected starter for Tampa Bay. He's primarily a relief pitcher, Higgins, so don't expect more than 2 innings out of him. And then, it's a complete bullpen game. Who knows what'll happen? That being said, I wouldn't really back Matt Harvey either. So this was another no bet for me. I would, definitely lean the Tampa Bay side. I think you're on the right side here. I think you gave a lot of good reasons to back Tampa Bay, but the unknown with how they're going to pitch the whole game is a lot to piece together. And, if they start down early, it gets rough in some of these bullpen games if you're down after the first 2 innings.
Yeah, that's understandable. McHugh, as a reliever, has faced off against Baltimore 4 times this season in some capacity, so a little bit familiar with their lineup, and that means that they're a bit familiar with him as well, so we'll see what that means. Brett, I have one last baseball game to talk about as well. Cleveland versus Minnesota. If we take a look at how these two teams have done on the over-unders this year, which this game, it's set at 10. If you look at how they've done on their over-unders, both these teams are fantastic. Minnesota is the best in the MLB at hitting over, 69, 44, and 5. And then you look at Cleveland. Cleveland's done pretty well for themselves as well, fourth in the MLB, 63, 49, and 4. Both of these teams have a win percentage on overs that is over 55%. So I'm going to be taking over 10, especially when you actually take a look at this game and you look at the fact that it's Cal Quantrill on the mound for Cleveland, Griffin Jacks on the mound for Minnesota. These are guys that have an ERA over 3 and over 5, respectively. I don't really expect the defenses to be too much of an impact in this game. I think it's going to be all bats, all slugger fest, and in Minnesota, those balls can fly.
Yeah, well, we will definitely see what happens there. I think you're right. Could be a lot of runs in that one, Higgins. I'm going to find myself on one game on Monday, Higgins. The Athletics take on the White Sox. Frankie Montas and Dallas Keuchel are the projected starters at this point. But Higgins, you beat me to the rundown today, so we got the Oregon odds in here. And I noticed something that in New Jersey, the White Sox are minus 116, Oakland's minus 102. But in Oregon, the White Sox are the dogs at plus 100. So I got to beat these New Jersey books, beat the Oregon book, and get that Oregon line with a team that's clearly favored here on the East Coast as even money dogs out there on the West Coast. And lucky for me, I do a podcast with a person in Oregon. Maybe I can Venmo him $10. Maybe he can put that in his account for me and place a nice little wager for a friend.
Yeah, and good thing you did that. We were able to do that for each other because this line has already moved to minus 105 aside. So early line movement, sometimes good to get the early line, and we'll see what type of value you get with the closing line value, which was last episode's Beginner's Boulevard term, if you remember that. But yeah, I really like that pick. Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the White Sox. The White Sox have just been cruising. But overall, that should be a good game because Frankie Montas on the mound for Oakland as well should be very interesting. Those two teams, both of them eyeing the playoffs. White Sox should have it. Oakland's eyeing it pretty hard, though. We'll see if they can grab one.
Yeah, Oakland definitely needs these games, so it should be a good competitive series.